now I'd like for you kind of just to talk about like where you grew up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, as you know, and as for the ones who don't know, I'm Santana Moss. Born and raised in Miami, Florida. Um, I actually spent the early years of my childhood in Liberty City area, well known in Miami. Not a great area. I was surrounded by a lot of love and family, but I can kind of tell you, growing up in Liberty City molded me to be who I am today. That those years from as early as I can remember coming out of my mom's womb, probably the earliest I can remember, probably 5 and 6 till I turned to about 12 years old. Some of the things I encountered and went through basically made me who I am today, made me, have the drive I have today. And it was a blessing in disguise, not knowing that here you go, you got a 5-year-old that is so intrigued with his surroundings, is so aware of where he wants to be or what he wants. Like, I can honestly tell you, I kind of laugh and joke because I ask my sons and my daughters who've been in that age and now a little older, and I'm asking them questions about things that I was curious of back then when I was their age, and they have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the struggle was different. The things I saw at that age was harsh. The things that I was around was harsh. And I had a developed mind, I believe, at a young age to know that I wanted more, and I feel like we should have more. So, as early as I can remember, man, I remember just knowing that I wanted to run with the ball. I wanted to play football. And from that day on, I told myself that's what I was going to do. So from my childhood youth of as early as 5 or 6, like I said before, that was my main focus. That was my main goal. And my mom and my dad got us out of that neighborhood and moved us up north a little bit to Carroll City, which isn't probably that much better, but it was better living situations. I was able to push forward and be able to see that goal come close enough for me to be able to accomplish it.
As far as, the rough areas and stuff, what was stuff that you realized that you had to avoid to be able to get to where you are in football?
You name it. I mean, Miami, walking home from school, prostitution, drugs, gangs. I tell stories all the time, man. I used to walk out of my backyard. I used to walk out my door, and my backyard was actually my front yard was my grandmother's backyard. We had a little efficiency in the backyard where we stayed at. That we used to stay with my grandmother. The house got too crowded, so we moved to the efficiency in the backyard, and that's where me, my dad, and my mom and my 2 younger brothers stayed at. It was a 1-bedroom efficiency. All of us slept in the same bedroom, and we had a kitchen and a living room kind of together. And when I step out that door, it's my grandmother's backyard, but you're the backyard to the whole, everything that's going on around you. I mean, literally I can hear the moans and stuff at night of women doing whatever they're doing out there in the streets in our backyard, in my yard, and come outside and see crack pipes and you name it, needles and you name it. It was pretty rough, man. But like I say, if you didn't have a support system like I had from my grandmother, my cousins, my uncles, all of them who stayed in the house that I grew up in, and then the people that stayed in the house that I stayed in, my mom, my dad, it's hard to be any kid and see those things, hear those things, have encounters with those things daily. I'm talking about, I knew the drug dealers, I knew the prostitutes, I knew any and everybody who was doing wrong in the streets by first name, and they knew me. Well. They would actually give me money to go in stores for them because they wasn't allowed to go in those stores, and they knew my grandmother well on that street, so they knew that, hey, at the end of the day, that kid could be trusted. He's a good kid, so let's let him do it. And that's how my horizon was broadened, because I was able to do things that a normal 6-7-year-old wasn't doing. And it makes you grow up fast. It makes you, you have to, because you have to see things coming at you and whatever, and know how to either adapt or not allow those things to suck you in. And I've always had good teaching. My dad was a no-nonsense man. Always told me right from wrong, showed me things, firsthand, so I know what was right and I know what was wrong. My mom always preached to me. My grandmother was great at just showing me things and let me know why people were in the situation they're in. So with all that help, man, it was easy for me to say, yeah, that's wrong. I don't want that. But also, I was blessed to have the mindset I had because I had older cousins and people that stayed with me that didn't have the same mindset, and they just went on with life the way it pretty much presented itself. I was a guy that, yeah, you gave me this, but I want more. So whatever you gave me, I want to double that down and try to get more out of it. And that's basically what, led me to where I'm at now.
So as far as, I mean, obviously family had a big impact on the person you are. Who was the first person outside of your family that had a positive impact on your life?
The very first person that probably had a positive impact on my life outside my family, it's hard to say. I had a lot of great teachers in elementary, and I took something from every last one of them, especially, all the ones I remember. But I remember when I was in third grade, I'm not sure the lady's name, Miss Williams, one of those names. She had one of those names that every teacher in the world has. I can't remember because I had so many of them. It was either Miss Jackson or Miss Williams. But she was always making me get up and do, and Black History Month, I would do, I would do plays. I would be a speaker. I would say a Frederick Douglass speech, or the Martin Luther King speech, or Malcolm X. She would pick a person and say, Santana, you're very good in front of the audience, so I need you to do this. And I hated it. It sucked. I hated getting up in front of people. I had a speech impediment, but she forced me to overcome those things by, conquering the fear of mine, and that was my fear. My fear was to get up and speak and get up and, be that person in front of, one of those audiences and be looked at amongst my peers as somebody that's getting up and doing that. And it's crazy. Now that I think back at it, everything I'm doing now, she's kind of prepared me for that. After football, she prepared me to be in front of the camera. She prepared me for drama. I was actually awarded after I left elementary. I could have went to school of art just for drama because I got so good at doing plays, speaking, and acting. So if it wasn't for her to put that in me, to instill that in me, I would never probably have what I have when it comes outside of what I did on the football field. But along with her, I had other teachers that, every level I had a great teacher, because teachers would actually handpick you to come in their class after seeing what you did in other classes. And you name it, from third to my fifth grade, every teacher kind of gave me something. And I think the one thing that stand out the most to me out of all those teachers, my PE teacher told me one day after watching me on the PE field, all the kids do the same thing, play throw up tackle, or they have, like, we had this organized football thing going on in our school where every grade would play each other class. So if you're in third grade, you play all your class, play all the third grade classes, and whoever wins plays the fourth grade class, and so on with the fourth grade, so on with the fifth grade. And it was the fifth grade teacher that told me from third grade, I'm gonna come get you to be in my class because we're gonna win the football championship. And it's like, who knew, And my PE teacher told me after watching me play and seeing the guys, every kid was after my knees because they hated me because I could run and I was just athletic. I was just, stuff that I did was effortless. And I remember my PE teacher told me, man, 10 years from now, I'm gonna hear about you. And it stayed in my head because everything I did, I wanted to prove that teacher that he's going to hear about me doing something good. And so everything I did when I left that school, it was crazy. It was ironic that same teacher that told me that I moved to a whole new town and his home was next to the school I was going to. So I was leaving to go to his job every morning. I remember walking to his doorstep and knocking on the door, and he's like, what's up? Like, I go to this school right here, and it was crazy. At that time, I was a football player, little league football player. I was running track too, and he was actually one of the guys that's, shooting the guns at track meets and stuff, and he was a starter. And just to see me come across the finish line and do some of the things I did in the football field, he was amazed, and I just kept pushing forward to just climb that ladder to continue to do what I had started.
I love it. And I mean, it's crazy because, you've had contact with so many people, but when I asked you that question, it's a third, fourth, fifth grade teacher that had that something that is something that's been with you for life.
Yeah.
So for whether you're watching this and you're an athlete, a professional, or just a parent, there's an opportunity to have a positive impact on a kid's life just by saying you're going to be something in 10 years. And it doesn't have to be sports, it could be anything, but these kids will soak that all in. And I'll be sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So you get to high school. I mean, how was high school football compared to youth? Was it the competition more difficult, or were you still dominant?
You know what's crazy, man? Because I played the best of the best. You know, one of
Mm-hmm.
the things I've learned over the years of becoming Santana Moss, who everyone seems to love, and brags about some of the things I've done in my career. It was all hard work, man. I mean, I couldn't possibly tell you that I'd be this guy that I am if you had to ask me back then.
Mm.
Yes, I was talented, but it was so many other guys talented like me. So many other guys better. So many other guys had kind of peaked before me. So I was just good, but it was God's great. And the one thing that I've always done, when I got to high school, I had a okay little league career. You can say career, because
Mm.
I played little league from 6th to 9th grade. The only reason why I played 9th grade because when I got to high school, the head football coach, he had this thing where if you had to work out in his class, he had a weight training class. So in order for you to play football, you had to be a part of the weight training class. And I had the class like second period, and I never worked out in 9th grade. And I remember when I heard on announcement, hey, anyone want to sign up for spring football, bring your report cards, to Coach Walt Frazier, and he's going to check your report card and see if you can, be on his team. I remember this week, like, okay, I have a good report card, so, I got one bad grade and it's in weight training, but that shouldn't be a problem, and I remember stepping to him, and he looked at my report card, and he looked up at me, and he had a cigar in his mouth. He always smoked a cigar, and he pulled the cigar out. He's like, now, you trying to play football? And I'm like, yeah. And he put the cigar in his mouth. He chuckled, and he said, well, I know about you. I know you can play. He said, but you got a D in my class. Now, how you think I'm gonna allow you to play football and you got a D in my class? I'm like, well, it's just a D, but it's I'm not failing it or nothing. He said, why you think you got that D? So I was just sitting there like, any naive 9th grader, like, I don't know. He said, well, let me help you out. You sit in the back of my class every day. And so in order for you to play football, you have to work out in that class. You have the class. So the guys who don't have my class, they work out after school.
Mm.
You have the class, so it's no working out after school for you. You have to work out while you in school. And being a young guy, didn't know, so he's like, you know what, son, I know you got some talent, and I'll see you next year. Gave my report card back. So I'm looking at him like, so you mean I can't play? And he's like, no, see you next year.
Oh, wow.
I went and played Little League one more year because I was eligible because I was only 14 at the time. And, you go all the way up to 15, I believe, in Little League. And I played another year of that. And the next year, I came back. I had this class again. I worked out every day. And I remember he started me as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
But it was crazy because as a starter, as a sophomore, we didn't throw the ball. So I was a receiver, and he ran the wing tee. And everyone was like, man, you need to join the wing. You need to run the wing. I'm like, no, I'm a wide receiver. That's all I want to play. And I was like, if he's not going to throw the ball, I might have to go somewhere else. So, my high school career started off bumpy. It started off with us losing probably almost every game that year. I think it was like 3 and something or 4 and something. And I remember telling my dad that after that season, like, hey, man, I want to go to the school down the street. They throw the ball 100 times, So my dad was like, what that mean? I mean, are they winning over there? I'm like, well, they doing all right. They doing a little better than us. And he was like, well, I know this school you at is going to eventually be good. That coach is a good coach. So make him throw you the ball. No, you're not going nowhere. So I'm sitting there like, it's impossible to be anything if I can't be myself. And it's crazy. The lessons I learned from that coach, from that team, from that school, I remember my junior year that almost never happened. Here I go removed from my sophomore season being a starter. I had 3 attempts and 3 catches the whole entire season. My junior year, they tell me I have scoliosis now. So I don't even get a chance to play.
Wow.
The whole 2 days, coach had a policy. If you didn't come to training camp, you don't play that season. So training camp comes, I don't pass the physical. Scoliosis, can't go, you can't play. So I literally sat down the whole entire summer, had a growth spurt, got thicker, got bigger. And I literally, man, thought football was done for me because they're saying this weird thing about my spine is being quicker. And I had no clue of it, like didn't know what to do. my mom took me to a specialist every week, every other week, and he gave me remedies like sleep on the floor, lay on your back, do this, do that. And we just did what they told us to do. Like, I had no clue if I'd ever probably come back and play sports again. And I remember school from the start, and I remember watching those guys. I used to go sit in the bushes close to the school and just watch the football team practice just the whole entire summer. And I had friends that were still on the team, and I would call them at night like, hey, man, I saw you catch that ball. They're like, where you was at, man? We didn't see you. I was like, don't worry about it. I saw y'all. Come out there, man. I'm like, man, I'm not coming out there if I can't practice or participate. But I'm watching them. And I remember when school came back, the weekend before school started, I go see the specialist that I've been seeing the whole entire summer. And he checks my back. He did me a physical. He said, I passed. I'm sitting here like, you mean to tell me I just missed the whole entire training camp because of something that I know I didn't really have. But whatever it was, you know, I had to pass this physical. So I'm happy that I passed the physical finally, but I'm saying to myself, well, that's a season I have to sit out because the coach's policy is if you don't come to training camp, you can't play. And here I go and walk into school my junior year, first week of school, first day of school, and I have him for the first period. You know, the first period was actually your homeroom, so that second period, but we had to meet in first period. Meet at homeroom that day. And he looks at me like, what's up? Like, you basically want to know where I've been at.
Yeah.
Coach, you know, I've been home. Remember, I didn't pass the physical at school. And he remember I failed the physical at school. But I said, here's my release forms. I just got released, and now I'm cleared. He was like, well, you can play, right? I was like, yeah, I'm healthy to play, but I know your policy. He's like, no, that's not for you. You was a starter for me last year, and you missed because you had to miss because the doctor, you know, his rules. And he was like, if you're available, I want you on my team. You have to miss the first 5 weeks. You have to practice for at least 5 weeks first. And I'm sitting there like, hey, I'll take it. And that's how my junior year started, man. So as bumpy as all that was, man, to make something out of it, man, it's stuff that I take from the early childhood stuff, and it just built and created this creature that I call myself of my determination and hard will.
Man, that's perseverance, man. That's awesome. Never even knew that part of you. So junior year, you're on. Senior year, getting ready for college. Like, how did you decide on University of Miami? Was that your radar?
I mean, cut you off. Before I can even go to talking about a school, that junior year, after missing those first 5 games, I came in the first game. I came in the week 6. First pass thrown in my quarter and scored a touchdown. And I'm sitting there, all my friends are geek, like, oh man, you're back. And that was my first high school touchdown. Like, I hadn't scored a touchdown the first year. I just, you know, basically was a decoy the whole year. And so I'm geeked, and every week after that, I caught a ball. Like, we didn't throw that much. So we threw once. Our coach had another policy. If I throw to you, you better catch it because you won't get another pass thrown your way. So every week he found out, well, I can trust this guy. I'm going to throw it to him, and I would catch a bomb every week. I was just going deep on people. Boom, boom, boom. So I end that season, and we go all the way to the game before state. We lose that game, and he tells me, I was running track in 9th grade, and I quit because of the scoliosis thing. No, I ran 9th and 10th. And I ran 9th, and I didn't run 10th grade because they told me I had scoliosis. So with that, me and the track coach had a little vendetta. The track coach called me a couple of names because he didn't know the actual facts of what was going on. But if anyone know about missing football, I got to miss track. I'm not going to miss football and run track. It's the same thing. So after that junior year, that coach told me, say, hey, you know, you had a great season to come back and bounce back from all that. I think you need to take some of that anger you had built up in that game. So I saw some things in that game, and I feel that if you take some of that energy you got and you know, using on the track, you know, you can help them out, and you can also come back a better senior for me. Like, coach, no, I don't want to run track. He's like, no, I'm not really asking you. I need you to go out there and do it. And due to the fact I had a background in track, my friends already wanted me to come back out there and run. So I said, what the heck? You know, I really didn't want to run because the coach and me had something, you know, we was kind of beefing, you know, for what he said to me previous. So being a kid, being, you know, a little dumb, you know, I say naive these days, but I can truly say we don't think at times when we're young. So I was being dumb. I told myself, you know what, I'm going to run track, but I'm not going to do nothing he want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. So I literally went out there and I said, I'm not going to sprint. I'm going to be a jumper. I had jumping in my background. I was a long jump, triple jumper when I was young in the park recreation summer track programs. So I said, hey, what the heck, I'm going to jump. And I literally went out there. When the coach called us to do anything, I would go straight to the sand pit. And I would work in the sand pit all day. And it probably pissed him off. But he knew having me out there meant a lot.
Yeah.
The fast forward all that, man, I had a great track season that year. We won our first state championship as a school ever. I won jump and long jumping state. And it's crazy. After that season, the coach looked at me like, my football coach looked at me like, didn't I tell you? You can take all that energy you had and, use it. And it was crazy because all that momentum we took from track, it was more football guys than it was track guys. We went and took it to the football season that next year, our senior year, and won our first state championship as a football team. So all that kind of triggered what we did as football players that next year, my senior year. And I believe if it wasn't for track, I would never got a chance to even get in college because the University of Miami really saw me on the football field, but the track team is what gave me my scholarship, and that's how I got in the door.
Wow. Interesting. So, I mean, you that's crazy. So the coach,
Yeah.
track, and so you get to Miami, and on the scholarship was track related.
Track scholarship.
Okay, so you're at Miami, track, football. How'd that work?
Well, they told me from the get-go, hey, the football team was on probation. It was Coach Davis' second year, and he got basically everything that was given to him from the previous coach. But they was under so many sanctions from the Luke era and all that stuff. And they basically say, look, man, we know you can play ball. We're going to bring you here. We brought another guy, Aaron Mosier, in here a year before you. He's a defensive back. We brought him in on the track scholarship, too. The next year, which was my first year, his second year, his football scholarship came into effect. They took the track from him. He can run track if he wants, but now he's a football guy. So they say it's basically the same thing. You come in here, hey, you're a young guy. You're going to redshirt your first year anyway, so, it's gonna work out for you. I got in there in week 4 of the season. They had to play me. So they had to basically take Aaron Mosier scholarship that he just earned and give it to me so I can play and put him back on track scholarship for another year so I can play as a true freshman. I mean, I can't say I was just that good, but we didn't have much, and I was the next best thing. And so, just with everything that I brought to the table, I showed enough to be able to play as a true freshman. And trust me, man, it was crazy. That true freshman year, I played amongst freshmen. Reggie Wayne was a freshman. He was our freshman of the year for the Big East that year, actually. We had a guy who was in front of me at my position, Darryl Jones. And we had another guy who was a minor league baseball player. He played a little bit in the majors too, Andre King. He was 27-year-old freshman. And all 4 of us played as freshmen because we just didn't have nobody else. We had 2 guys that was there, and they got in a little trouble. And so we was the next guys up. And, I was behind a guy, and before you know it, I did some things as a freshman that led me to be a starter going into my sophomore season.
Awesome. So college, you end up having a great college career. NFL, how did you prepare for the NFL?
The NFL wasn't hard, but it was hard, and I hope I'm, making sense when I'm saying that. It took so much from day one to get to where I became. It was almost second nature for me. The things that I did that got me to that point of being at the University of Miami, guy who was still out there killing it on the track, killing it on the football field. I just thought back, like the preparation, the dedication, all that stuff, the overcoming obstacles. Even, as I spoke to you about me becoming a starter my sophomore year, I go through the whole training camp of that sophomore season and break my jaw the last day of training camp. So here I'm going from the start of the season off as a starter in camp because I just broke a jaw. And they telling me, hey, you're done for the season. And I'm like, no, I just worked too hard to be here. And you telling me I'm done. It's got to be another, chance for me to play. And I remember the doctor saying, well, I guess a lot of options, but I doubt if you want to do that. And he gave me the first one. He said, I could put a plate in there, you miss a game, and you'll have wires on every day until that jaw gets strong, but at least you'll play. Let's do that, you know? So the determination I had to become something great and to hold up to not just making it to where I had made it out those little neighborhoods of Liberty City and Carroll City. I wasn't satisfied with just making it. And so you can say, oh, yeah, there he go. He grew up where I grew up at. I wasn't satisfied with that. I wanted more. Like I told you, from 5, 6 years old, I knew then I wanted more. So I just grind for everything. If I wasn't the best, I was going to become the best because I didn't care about how good you was. I never hated on no one being good or better than me. I just took what I saw that I wanted or that someone did well and put it with me, put it with my game, found a way that I can create it to make it my own. And that's what I did to get better. Any and everything I saw from any and every good player or who I considered good, I took it. Let me get this. Let me get that. I mean, let me build this. You know, like Voltron. You know how you put those different pieces and together we can go out there and defeat anybody? That's how I was. I was like one of those, you know, Voltron, you know, machines where I can go out there and defeat anybody because I'm taking from everybody that I can consider is a little better than me or has something that I don't have. And that's how I was able to be the guy I was in college. My ceiling was so high that I never allowed it to fall. I never allowed myself to even play underneath where I was supposed to be because I always grind. I always made sure that, you know, I did the little things by studying the little things, by putting the work in when no one else was doing it, and then everything showed up on the field. That allowed me to get to the be a pro, which was an easier task than becoming a college football player. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So once you get to the NFL, did you have a mentor or another veteran that you looked up to that you built a relationship with that helped you through your career?
You know, one of the things, man, I learned early, you know, as an NFL guy, you take something from everybody. Everybody's on that level is there because they're one of the best of the best. Anybody that made it to the NFL, they're pretty good. I don't care if you're scout team, I don't care if you're a free agent, you're pretty good. You're good enough to be in those guys' meeting rooms, good enough to be considered one of these guys' players, you're pretty good. So early, man, I was fortunate, man. I had guys around me like Wayne Quebec, Benny Testaverde, Chad Pennington. That was awesome. Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin, I probably took more from Curtis Martin than any other guy. On the defense side, Mo Lewis, Marvin Jones, you name it, Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, I remember my first couple of practices when they drafted me, you know, I was the first round pick for the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn followed me around everywhere I went. He was going to make me be the guy that I became, you know, because he made sure he's number one defensive back on our team. He's following me. You got Wayne Quebec, Lavernius Coles, Haskett, all these guys who's great, who done played in this league, and he's following me around because he said he saw something in me that's going to get him better. So these guys created what they, you know, what guys saw every Sunday for 14 years of my career. Guys like them created that. I remember sitting in the training room. I got hurt my first year. And here I am sitting at that table like, man, I made it this far. And now I tear my knee up and I got to miss all these games. And now people doubt me. I'm in New York. They let me have it every day, every way they could. Oh, the first round pick, you know, the great hope, this and that, you name it. They were saying so much stuff. And good thing I didn't read a lot of it, but you hear it and you see it. So I wasn't a big reader on stuff about myself, whether it was good or bad. And I think I learned that from just early, just knowing how to not let some of that negative stuff sink in. You know, I'm a positive person. I always believe if you think positive things happen. So when I went through hard times on any level, I remember to just never let the negative stuff, if I don't see it or hear it, you're not talking to me, you know. Even if you heard it, don't tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? So going through some of those things my rookie season and then coming back from it and still not being myself and having to deal with more injuries because that injury caused more injuries. All that stuff, man, makes you have thoughts in your head of, is this really for me? You know, is it making it was all I needed to do? Or can I really be a player on this level? And I had those thoughts. But at the same time, none of those thoughts shattered none that I had before those thoughts. And my thoughts before that thoughts is, I got something to prove here. You know, I was that same guy that they told I was going to be too small. That same guy that when my cousins and everybody was older than me played and told me no. Same guy that people looked at me and said, "Oh, you'll never make it that far." The same guy that it was only one of us out of my neighborhood made it. So I had more to prove than just making it. I wanted to be one of the ones you can be proud of, just knowing me, saying that, yeah, look, he made it, but look what he's doing. He's competing with the best and being considered one of the best. So I just took everything that I pretty much seen. You know, Curtis Martin told me a lot about my body, you know, how to, you know, get the guys to make me be able to be available on the field. Sometimes you got to go in your pocket. You got to pay to play. Mo Lewis, I feel like you can call it tease. He picked at me and teased at me the whole entire year I was hurt until it made me feel like I don't even care about this dude. Whoever he is, he better not say a word to me because I was that furious of him, because he'll see me walking around and he was like, well, so they say he's fast. So they say he can do this. So they say. I ain't seen it yet, but that's what those guys did. They found ways to trigger what I needed to trigger. And I didn't need to hear that from Mo Lewis, but he knew I had potential. He just wanted to see it. You know, everybody have so much hopes and aspirations for what you're going to be for their team when you such a threat in college and people watching you. They want to see that. And to start off the way I started off, I can just look back and say, man, everything I've ever done in life to get to where I'm at right now today, it's always been something. It's always been something in my way. Whether I had to miss because of scoliosis, whether I had a broken jaw before the season started, whether, you know, it was always something, you know, and it's just one more thing. So I took it like it came. Like, hey, I'm used to this. Psych yourself out. This is something that you've been down this road before. What you did last time, what you did the time before that, you thought positive, you got in your box, and you worked for it, because it's never easy. And even if it came easier than all the other levels came, yeah, the NFL surprised me, because I'm like, oh, man, I could finally come through some doors without being looked over. Here I am, the small guy, getting too high. So now I finally walked in these doors without having to say, oh, yeah, we'll take him how we took him in UM. No, I'm a first rounder. But then just when I thought it was easy, it got harder for me again. So it allowed me to stay humble and know that any and everything you want out of life, out of anything that you set to go out there and grasp one day, you got to pay the price. And it might be something that you least expected. But when it occurs and when it happens, you have to be ready mentally and physically to go through that, because in order for you to have what you want, those are some of the steps and those are some of the things you got to go around to have it. And that's why I did. I accepted it, and I realized it's never going to be easy. And I put my head, I didn't put it down, I put it straight, and I just grinded for it.
So this transition from your rookie year to now you're actually one of the veterans and you're one of the star players on the team. How did your mentality change, and did you take on that type of mentor role with rookie athletes as they came into the league?
You know, funny thing, man, I've always been the guy to share any and everything. I'm one of those guys that if you walk through the door, if it was just you, say you just joined the team, I'll be the first guy you probably come to and say something to, because I got that welcome sign on me. You can see it that, oh yeah, I can talk to him. I've never looked at a guy as if I was better. If I saw a guy do something, I'm the first one to, hey, do it like this. I'm always been a helper. I'm always been a guy that to lend a hand, because I know that if I was that guy in those shoes, I would want someone to do it for me. And it's crazy because I've always had someone reach out and give me a little advice or say, hey, do this, or hey, do it like this, Tanner. So I've always appreciated. So I'm big on giving back and doing it for others too. So no doubt, man. Like, I went to school for education. That was my first degree, and I knew that one of the things I've always been intrigued with is teaching. Regardless, I'm talking about. I grew up with two younger brothers. I literally tried to mold them into me being me. I remember, like, my mom and dad didn't get my brothers up for football practice. So it was me, and I can sit here proudly and say, yeah. Everything they did, if I didn't see them do something good on the football field, we're going to go out and practice at night and get this thing right. When one of my brothers didn't make the weight, we're going to get up early in the morning. We're going to run around this park so we can make this weight. Like, I can sit here proudly and say, when I watched them play football, it was like watching something that I created, because if you're not if you're not your little brother's, you know, superhero or somebody that they look up to, then you're not servicing your brothers the right way or your siblings the right way. I made sure that, you know, even if I wasn't the best, I was gonna make them know that, man, I'm creating them to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? Or creating them to go on the same path I'm going. My mind is set. Regardless of what I was putting out there, man, I'm gonna make it, you know? So I wanted to make sure they knew that we all gonna do this together. So always had that in me. So it was easy for me to be, you know, you asked a great question, because I remember one year, Herm Meltwitz told me, I think it was my third year, and we had a guy come over from the New York Giants, Jonathan Collar. We call him J. Butter. And they picked at me and him because Jonathan was like, you know how like when you meet somebody that's you're inseparable, like as you meet a girl and you don't want to leave her sight, Jonathan was like that with me. He will go any and everywhere I go. And you got to think, I was the guy. So if you're a young guy that watched me in college, but we came out the same time, but you looked up to me, when you get around me and being the guy who I am, that mostly I'm the warmest guy on the team when it comes to my heart, and I'm fucking everybody, and I'm just cool with everybody. Even guys that didn't play, we all hanging out, and like most guys not like that. If you a star, you're not even hanging with some of the scrubs. That's how we call. That's how we look at it. I was a guy who hung out with everybody. Like I didn't look at it, you know, I'm here, you here. No, let's go hang out. We all people. So Jonathan was a talent that I saw that he was way much faster than I was, but he wasn't polished. He wasn't a polished receiver. And I remember watching him in practice. He was a receiver. He's number 84. I was 83. And we hung out. We did everything. And I say, I wouldn't be the friend if I would allow him to just be on his team and not be the best he can be. So one year, I said, man, when I go home this summer, you need to come stay with me in Miami. We're going to work out. You're going to work out with some of the best. And we're going to run routes until you get everything down packed. He was a guy that played at Troy University. And he was a running back. He was an athlete. He ran the ball most in the backfield, caught balls outside. He didn't have one position you can consider that was his. But he was a receiver and a punt returner / kick returner in the league. He could run all day, but he couldn't stop and plant the way he should be fluently. And I saw it. And I remember taking him home with me, and we just worked at University of Miami, and he got around guys that he watched, and he was just in awe, man, to be in that vicinity, be around those guys and just enjoying Miami too. And instantly, when we came back to camp, Herm was looking, and he raised his eyebrows. When he watched Jonathan run routes, he was like, And I watched coaches because I just sit. I'm an observer. I sat and watched every coach look at Jonathan, and they just praised him on everything he was doing. And Jonathan was a loud talker. He was one of those guys. Yeah, Tanner Man got me right. Y'all see Tanner Man got me right, and he always praised me on everything I did. He's like my little brother, but he's older than me. But he always called me his big brother. And Coach Herm was putting me to the side and say, "Hey man, hey son, I see what you did with Jonathan." He said, "One day you're gonna have a career in coaching if you can do that to a player on this level." And I was like, "Coach, I just brought him down there, you know, to be around guys like myself." And you know, he got to working. He's like, "No, I'm impressed." He said, "Everything you doing, how you run your routes, he run dead exact. You can't." He said, "We watching film, breaking it down, and our routes look identical." So he knew that Jonathan went down there and worked with me. And he was like, "That's rare," because they always thought highly of how I did things, because I always did things not how you do it up. You know, coaches say straight line, do this. No, I can't do that because everything is not like on paper. You can draw a straight line, but that defender is going to sit in my way, so I have to give him something. And, man, I remember doing that with Jonathan, and it just carried, man. Every time I got a young guy in, man, I always gave him what I had, gave him anything I had here or anything I can help him with, because I just feel like competition wasn't nothing to me. I've overcame competition a long time ago. I played with the best of the best. I've been around the best of the best. I wasn't considered one of the best. So for me to be now one of the best is because I conquered all that, you know. I conquered all that. I competed with the best to make me better. So when I saw guys come in, I wanted that. I wanted to judge myself to what I saw. To see, man, oh, you think that highly of him? So let me go out here and fine-tune this a little bit and see where I can compare. So I loved it. And that's why I've always gave guys what I knew, because I never cared about you being better. I wanted us to be good, so I don't have to get all the attention, so I can be that guy, you know, every time they call him.
Man, dude, You're just an awesome guy, man. The more I hear you talk, the more I really just appreciate you as a person, and that's awesome, man. Because not all pro athletes, not even all athletes are like that. You know,
No, not at all.
it's about them. But that's awesome that you did that, and I'm sure you have multiple people that you've had that type of impact on. Uh, After football, what was like after retiring from football?
Oh man, I can say one thing, man. I'm fortunate because I had no clue. Like literally, I've always prepared mentally, saying, "Hey, one day this thing gonna be over." After say 12, year 12, I had one of my better seasons. I catch 8 touchdowns they took my role from me and said, "Hey, Tanner, we know you can be a starter in this league, but guess what? We put you in the slot. We give you less on your legs. Maybe you play 3, 4, 5 more years." So I'm all for that. That was Coach Shanahan's, goal, and I took it. I ran with it. I didn't want to, but I knew, like I said before, the competition was there. We was all judged, and Coach told me, "Hey, my best 2 receivers is you and Pierre right now, but I don't want you to be the starter at Z. I want you to come into the slot." Okay, Coach. I don't like it, but guess what? If you say it's gonna make me better and make the team better, I'm all for the team. After that year, I had 8 tugs that year, led the team in touchdowns, and we went to the playoffs. I just knew that, man, I can still do this at this age. I think right then at that time I was 33 years old. And we had RG3, and, it was bumpy with him. He got – that year he blew up. The next year he was hurt. So my production kind of like varied whatever was going on at that position. Most of the time, especially if you're not the guy, you're going to get less, after having what I had in 2012 and then not having nowhere near that 2013 and 14, my mind had already started saying, "Hey, you know what? I understand this league. It's about what have you done lately." And regardless of if I know I still can be that guy, my production is not out there because of the reps and because of who I have this musical chairs thing going on in the backfield with the quarterback position. I'm not happy with it, but I have to accept that. Year 2014, Gruden comes in, and he picks another guy to be his slot receiver. A whole lot of that stuff went on before that. I could talk to you for days about it, but it doesn't really matter. My mind had already got to saying, you know what? Next year might not be. I'm a free agent after this season. Might not be here. I want to be here because I know I can still compete on this level. I know guys know they see me go against me every day in practice. I'm going against the best because I go out there and practice with the scout team this so I can see the best. So I can prove to them that I'm still Santana, who they know they can count on. But mentally, I had started going down that path of just finding something that I want to do. At that time, I was doing a lot of that, hey, pulling guys to the side. Look, you out here playing, let me show you something. Boom, boom, boom. Do that. You out here playing, let me show you something. Boom, boom, boom. And guys was like, "Damn, bro, like, you got all this stuff, man." They using my routes that I run in practice to teach the guys that's coming in. So I'm laughing like, this is funny to be sitting in these rooms and seeing this, but you're not playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to use you on film. Watch what Tanner do. Okay? Do it like that. But you're not playing Sunday. So it's funny, man. It's a funny game. But the guy I am, man, is no other man could take it the way I took it. Promise. So mentally, I was just already being thankful for what I've accomplished. I was here now at year 14. I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe I might have a chance to go into the next year and play, which I tried. I sat out there, waited for like 8 weeks. I had a set day. I said, man, 8 weeks I don't get a call. Go ahead and pack it up. And I was getting calls, but the calls was all like, hey, we know Tanner out there. We're going to wait for the right situation. We're going to bring him in. I'm not that kind of guy, man. I don't feel like I need to beg or plead for no job. I felt that at the end of the day, if you weren't satisfied with what I put on film, which it showed a lot, then maybe it's a wrap. It's that time for me to slightly walk out the door. And I remember a guy asking me like, hey, bro, you gonna get a send-off? You gonna tell everybody you retired? Not needed. When it's done, it's done. You're gonna be remembered for what you've done on that field. I don't need to be remembered saying that, hey, I'm hanging them up. People was pissed off about it, but I told Dan Snyder I was done, and it's crazy because that year, while I was home, my agent Drew Rosenhaus his brother Jason Rosenhaus, which is his partner, he reached out to me and said, "Hey man, they have this program going on at the University of Miami. Athletes and entertainers to get a chance to take this accelerated program to get an MBA in business management. I think it'd be good for you." So I was like, I've been knocking on that door the entire 14 years that I was removed from college, saying I said I want to go back, but I need motivation. Because here I am now with nothing to do. If I didn't have that to do, I would probably went crazy sitting around waiting on, a team to pick me.
Yeah.
But I had my mind on other stuff because I was in school. And I actually did that in 2 years. And through the process of being in school, I was able to cope with the fact that, hey, I'm not going to play no more. And when I did that, when I finally, came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to play no more, the door opened in the media. I was up here watching the game, and the door just opened wide open. Like, hey, I want you to meet with this person, that person, and maybe you can come do some work at the time it was CSN. Now it's called NBC Sports Washington. And that's how I started. And then I was on a radio station locally, 106.7 The Fan, throughout every year, my last 3 or 4 years, I was, one of the paid guests that come on after every Sunday's game. And they reached out and said, hey, we're allowed to have you here too. So fortunate, man. Most guys, I've heard so many different stories of guys just lost because you don't know, man. You really don't know, and you don't have nothing to go into. Everybody can't just sit in the house and coach their kids at Part 1. I'm not that kind of guy to coach my son because I can tell them everything they want to know, but, if that's your child, you're going to be a little different than someone else's child. I can take someone else's child and groom them. I can groom my own child too, but I'm going to want to be hands-on. So I'd rather someone coach them and I correct wrongdoing,
Yeah.
And I was doing that a little bit, but I knew that wasn't my life. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't be this little league coach with my youngest son or any, coach like that. I want to coach one day, or I want to, cross that path with him. But when that media door opened, me to be an analyst, I took it, and I can just see, honestly, from year one to now, I'm kind of trying to own this thing, man.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I love it. I love it. So what are your you're an analyst. Outside of that, like, what are your passions long term?
Well, I just officially started a camp last summer called the Moss Academy out here in Leesburg, Virginia. It's a summer camp. I had my first official one this past summer. We're gonna have it every summer. Last year I had 28 kids come. It was great. We had a good time. Kids was out there with me every day. Like I tell them, hey, I'm not here to make you a great football player. I'm trying to build character in some of these kids that I feel that's needed. Teach them discipline. Teach them some of those things I had. To be able to overcome things. Teach them that basically, you don't get nothing for free. Everything is about hard work. Everything is about that want to. If you want it bad enough, you can have it. I'm teaching them everything that I've learned. Basically, how to get in front of their peers and not be shy. Get up and speak. Know everybody next to you. All the little things that people take for granted. I loved it, man, because I watched kids start and have no kind of athletic ability. It seemed like they just didn't have both limbs going together at the same accord, and to leave after that, to start Monday and leave Friday, they was night and day from how they walked in. But I just did that. That was last summer was my first summer. This summer 2018 would be the second one. Also, on top of that, I started a new nonprofit foundation called 89 Ways to Give. I've been a giver all my life. Most of the time, I've been out of my pocket. And so now I'm officially, I want to do something that I was doing similar that I did in Miami a lot. Just put on events and functions for kids, man. I want to be able to be that person to give to people that I feel that most need it. Up here in the area I'm in now in Virginia, it's pretty wealthy, but still these kids are not, they're lost because, the parents can please them with the wealth and please them with the, the money. They don't have to grind the way some of the kids grew up from where I'm from, but that don't make them better than the kids where I'm from, you don't have something to really, go after because you have everything. That's when you become lost more. And so I just want to make sure I can always give to them and always share these stories, always be there for them. One of the things I do when I go speak to kids, I tell them to touch me. If they touch me, and I tell them, if you touch me, you can be me. You know, so it's no doubt that you can do the same thing I'm doing or better. You don't have to be a football player, but you can be somebody special and successful because you just touched me. So that means that I'm just like you. I probably grew up a little different than you, probably with less, but guess what? I've overcame that because of this and this. And I just try to strive for greatness in them, teach them how to strive for greatness and show them that it's never over. Like, even after all that playing ball and running track and doing what I've done, I still feel like there's so much stuff for me out here to conquer. And that's why I kind of strive to be able to be the best I can be to my kids and all the kids that I feel like that's going to be somebody that we count on in the future. I feel like, you know, our future is, you know, in their hands. So if we don't build them up to be what we want, then we screwed.
Yeah. Well, Santana, we got a lot of great content in this interview. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with student athletes that have dreams of playing football, whether it's at college or NFL, or in life? Just any type of wisdom that we might have not touched on.
I mean, I probably said everything and anything they could probably, you know, want to hear. But the one thing I would just always say, man, just believe in yourself. It's very cliche. I mean, people say it all the time, but it's so true. You know, believe in yourself. You're going to come through times when you feel like, you know, should I give up? Is it really meant for me? Why am I not as good as her? Why am I not as good as him? But it's because, you know, the man is testing you. He's testing to see what you want. Do you really want it? Yes, that person might have it now. How long can that person hold on to it? Due to the fact that you don't have it, that should make you want it more because it allows you to appreciate it when you do get it. And that's what life is about, man. It's about going after what you want. And until you realize nothing easy and nothing given, then you appreciate life a little more. And that's what successful people are made of. That's what makes you successful because you're able to go out there and really get something and be able to sit back and think about the grind and the grit that got you there and got you what you want.